songs, they take part of this whole series of altar and surrendering ourselves and giving ourselves away. And I want to thank our praise team. Those guys are awesome. I love them to death. And I'm just excited about what God is about to do here at Restoration Chapel, what He is doing. I've noticed that people have been asking, can I take a rock off and put in the blessed vial? Anytime you want to come take a rock and put in the blessed vial, you put it in the blessed vial. Even though this series is coming to an end today, we are working on a way to keep this altar somewhere here on the ground so people can come and pray with these and lay them down and lay the rocks down and in the blessed vial so people can see what God is doing. But this morning we're excited, and if you have your Bibles, go ahead and turn to Mark 14, verses 32 through 36. And this is a common passage. A lot of us know this passage, and so I want you just to follow along with us. It says that they came to a place which was named Gethsemane, and he said to the disciples, "Sit ye here while I shall pray." And he taketh with him Peter and James and John, and began to be sore amazed, and to be very heavy. And said unto them, "My soul is exceedingly sorrowful unto death. Tarry ye here and watch." And he went forward a little, and fell on the ground, and prayed that if it was possible, the hour might pass from him. And he said, "Abba, Father, all things are possible unto thee. Take away this cup from me. Nevertheless, not what I will, but what thy will." Today, as I said, it's our final week of our series, Altars. And this, I don't know about you, I love this series. I love what God has been telling us and what God has been showing us. And each week, He's been showing us something new. In week 1, He told us that the altar was a place of sacrifice. A place where we come and we say, God, I give me, instead of God, give me. We said it's a place where we come and we lay down our whole lives and give it over to God. And then in the second week, we talked about Jesus, how He was the ultimate sacrifice, that He died for each and every one of us, and how He went on a cross and He paid the ultimate sacrifice so we could have everlasting life. Then in week 3, last week, we talked about the unload and burden process. And we talked about how we can cast our burdens upon the Lord. And then He will sustain us and He will guide us to victory. Which leads us to this morning. And you see, I come to realize this, and I love the songs that we sung. When we begin to surrender to God is when we truly begin to worship. Amen. Amen. You see, a lot of us, it's hard for us to surrender over to God. It's hard for us to just let go and let God move in a mighty way. We worry about what other people think. We worry about what other people will say. There's many things that keeps us from really surrendering over to God. As a matter of fact, we don't even like the word surrender, right? When we think of surrender, what do we think of? We think about defeat, right? We think about people taking over our lives. And as Americans, or as human beings, we have come to a point in our society that we would rather be prideful, we'd rather be boastful, we'd rather be a big name person instead of surrendering to something else. But God says true surrender is true worship. We just sung a song that said, "This is my desire to honor you. I give you my life. I give you my heart. I give everything over to you." Have you really prayed that? Have you really said that? Listen, no matter what's going on in my life, I hand it over to you. I hand you my talents. I hand you my good things. I hand you my bad things. I hand everything over to you, because it's not about me anymore. It's all about you. It's all about you getting the glory. It's all about you getting the praise and the honor. I was so excited. I got to take my wife's birthday was Wednesday, if you didn't know. And I was, before I got sick, I was able to take her out to eat. And I took her, I don't know if you've ever been there. We went to the melting pot. And I'm not a big melting pot guy, but my wife loved it, so I surrendered, right? I sacrificed for her, right? And I wanted to try something new while I was there. And so I tried duck for the first time. And some of you might like duck. It was okay. It was all right. But I surrendered over. And I think about how many times we surrender to many, many things, but we never surrender to God. We never truly let go and let God just take over our lives and take over everything that we have. Church, we've got to come to a place where we come down to the altar. A lot of you have left rocks here. A lot of you have left issues, left problems. Some of you even came up here and left yourself, represented by a rock here on the altar. You left yourself. But have you truly surrendered it and gave it to God? Completely gave it to God. Completely allow Him to take over your life. Completely allow Him to say, listen, I love it because the Bible says if we will humble ourselves and turn from our wicked ways and begin to pray and seek God, then He will forgive us of our sins, but He'll also heal our lands. Do you realize, I don't know what you think about our country. I don't care what you think about our president. I don't care what you think about our government. But you know what? If Christians would just surrender to God, God would heal our land.
That's right.
If we would stop complaining and surrendering to everything else and just give it over to God, God will do a mighty move inside of us. You want to see a community that's restored to the knowledge and works of God? Then we need to see a church that says it's not about Restoration Chapel. It's not about who we are. It's about who He is. It's about living a life that He's called us to live. About being different from what the world says. Listen, church, I come to find out that we like to take the truth and make the truth adamant to the culture that we're in. But God says take the truth and use the truth because the truth came from Him. No matter what the rest of the world shall say. But what God says, if we will follow Him and surrender to Him, God will do mighty things in our lives. God will change us like we've never been changed before, church. Listen, I know we want revival. We want a move of God. But listen, it comes to a group of people surrendering to God. Surrendering to Him. Sacrificing. A lot of times we get to that point where we don't want to sacrifice. We've read the scripture during this week, during this series, Romans 12 and 1. And it says, I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. You see, you have to give yourself as a living sacrifice because it's our reasonable service of worshiping God. But it's easier said than it is done. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of barriers that block our total surrender to God. And this morning I want to ask you a question. Why don't we surrender? Why don't we surrender? Well, as I begin to pray and as I begin to seek God, God gave me three things that I think are really important of why we don't surrender. And the first barrier that blocks us from totally surrendering to God is fear. It's fear. Listen, when Halloween comes up, don't ask me to go to a haunted house. I'm afraid of the dark, much less somebody jumping out in front of me while I'm in the dark. Don't ask me to do that. If you see a mouse, don't ask me to go in that house. Amen. I won't do it. Amen. I'm afraid. I'm scared. You know, a lot of us are scared to totally surrender to God. Because we're scared of what's going to happen. You know what? We like to have control. Have you ever noticed that? If you don't, just sit in the back seat next time you drive. You can tell who the control freaks are when you sit in the back seat. Amen. Because they're matching that imaginary brake. You know what I'm saying? They're yelling, watch out, watch it. But you know, we like to have control because we're scared. If we allow somebody else to have control of our lives, we're scared that something might happen, that something might change us. Listen, church, a lot of us have so much fear that God is going to do something that we don't agree with, that God is going to do something in our lives to tell us to do something, that we don't even surrender to Him anymore. Some of us are afraid to lay our burdens down because we're scared that, it might be brought out, or it might do this, or it might do that. Some of us are afraid to lay things down to God because we're scared of the next step in our lives. We like to be comfortable, amen? We like to be comfortable. That's the reason why God made pews. They're uncomfortable. Amen. We like to be comfortable in everything that we do. We like to be comfortable in our worship. Have you ever noticed? I love it because usually when one person comes down to the altar, many more comes because somebody stepped out on fear. That stepped out and didn't care what everybody else said about them. I love it when one person usually raised their hands, others raise their hands. And listen, I think we use it as an excuse that, hey, I'm worried about what everybody else is going to say about me. But church, when you totally surrender to God, you're not afraid of those things of this world anymore. All you're afraid of is not doing what God has called you to do, or not doing the will of God in your life. What you're afraid of is being out of the presence of God. We can't have that fear in our lives. You see, fear is defined as a feeling of anxiety, a reverence, a worry, a chance to be afraid. We all have fear. I know there are people out there that says they're not scared of anything, but guess what? They're wrong. Amen. They're wrong. I'll never forget, I was told a story one time. Somebody was scared to death to teach a Sunday school class. But he had laid it on the Sunday school superintendent's heart for them to teach a class. And the person was scared. They kept saying no. And then one day they said yes. And a mighty move happened in that class because somebody stepped out of their fear and surrendered to God. Listen, church, it's time that we step out of fear. We can't have this fear inside of us anymore. We all have this fear, even though we know God. We still have a little fear of trusting in Him. Do you know how we get away from this fear? First, we have to know Him better. You see, this fear keeps us from surrendering. 1 John 4:18 says this: there is no fear in love, but perfect love casteth out all fear. Listen, church, I want to let you know, if you want to get out of that fearful state, if you want to get out of that state of being afraid, then you come to the Father, because the Father says perfect love casts out all fear. When the light gets a hold of you, you don't have to worry about the darkness anymore. When the King of Kings is surrounding you, you don't have to worry about the enemy anymore. Listen, devil, you have nothing on me, because my God is greater than you. I'm not afraid of you. I'm not scared of you, because I know perfect love casts out all fear. And when He died on the cross, He did it so I shall be saved, that I shall have a God, that I shall have a comforter, that I have somebody that's going to be with me all the time, that I'm going to have the Creator, the one that even created that one that became evil and cast him out of heaven. I have a Creator that's bigger than him. I don't have fear. The only fear that I have is not being with God. That's what we got to do, church. We got to have this perfect love inside of us, because perfect love casts out what? All fear. Amen. Amen. My God is bigger than the enemy. I want you. My God is bigger than your sickness. Hey, some of you are going through some things in your life right now, and you don't feel like you can make. My God is bigger than your sickness. Amen. He said, by my stripes you shall be healed. Amen. And listen, if it's not here on this earth, it's going to be in heaven. Amen. It's going to be, listen, you just keep striving. Keep striving to be more like Jesus. Keep striving to surrender that. Surrender that sickness to Him. Give it to Him. And say, God, I know you got my hand. We used to sing an old song that said, Jesus, hold my hand. There was another song that we said, I can't even walk without you holding my hand. Church, we need to grab the hand of Jesus and hold on to it, because our fear stands no chance when we got a hold of Jesus Christ. I love it when we go somewhere and my son is scared. You know what he does? He reaches up and he grabs my hand. And he'll squeeze it a little tighter. You know what? Then I know I got to act like a man. Amen. I got to act like a big dog now, because I know that he's a little afraid. So he grabs a hold of me. Listen, some of us, we need to grab a hold of Jesus Christ. And grab a hold of the one that loves us. Listen, you want to cast out fear, you realize that God loves you no matter what state you're in. No, and you know how I know this? Look at this. Look at these scriptures real quick. I'm I'm going to go through them fast. So Brother Michael or Brother Brandon, he stayed with me, that's fine. If he don't, we'll get them later. Psalms 145 and 9 says this: the Lord is good to all. Hey, I'm just going to start right there. He's good to all. Amen. I'm sorry, he's got it up wrong over there. 145 and 9. I'm sorry, the Lord is good to all, and his tender mercies are over all his works. Psalms 139 and 3 says, thou compass my path and my lying down and act acquainted with all my ways, which means he does not let you out of his sights. Amen. God will not let you out of it. You can't get out of the sights of Jesus. Amen. He's with you no matter what. No matter what kind of black alley you in, what kind of clothing you're in, no matter where you're at. God is with you. He's going to be with you. Some of us think that when we're out in this world that there's nobody with us, but God still has his eye on you. Amen. He still has his eye on what you're doing. And I ain't even talking about the simple thing. I'm talking about the times that you feel like you're alone and nobody's around you. We have a problem in this world with people that are getting depressed because they're lonely. But church, you're not lonely. Jesus has got his eye on you. He's got his eye on whatever you're doing. He's making sure you can't get out of the sights of God. Check this one out. Amen. Matthew 10 and 30. But the very hairs on your head are all numbered. You know what? Jesus knows so much about you. He knows every single hair on your head. Amen. Some of us, it's a little bit easier than others. You know what? Listen. God knows who you are. Somebody need to hear that this morning. No matter how small you think you are, how small your problem is in your life, God knows who you are. And he knows what you're going through, amen. If he can know how many hairs is on your head, Brother G, he can know what problem you're going through, what issue you're going through, no matter what you're going through. If he cares to know about the small details, then he cares to know about the big details. He cares to know about the middle details. All you got to do is get over your fear and then cast it upon him. But that's not the only thing he knows about you. 1 Timothy 6 and 17, it says, charge them that are rich in the world, that they may not high-minded nor trust uncertain riches, but in the living God, who giveth us richly all things to enjoy. The second part of this tells us that he lets us enjoy things, blessings that he gives us. You know God's blessing you right now. Oh, some of y'all should shout about that. Amen. God is blessing you right now. Amen. If you can just shake your head, yes, God is blessing you already. Amen. Some of you said, well, God hadn't blessed me. I don't have a job. I don't have a girlfriend or boyfriend. My kids were yelling as I was coming to church. My car's about to break down. Well, praise be to God, you woke up this morning. Amen. Some of you need to just think a little bit. God has already blessed you. Amen. If you can see out of your eyes, smell out of your nose, and speak out of your mouth, God has blessed you, amen. If you got clothes on your back, God has blessed you, amen. Because I want you to realize without him, you would have nothing. Amen. God has given you everything that you have. Why are we afraid of the one that gives us the things that we have? Amen. Some of us are afraid to let go to the one that gave us everything to start off with. Without him, you wouldn't have breath in your lungs. Amen. Amen. The Bible said he didn't just create you, he molded you into his own, into his own image. But not only molded you, he could have easily, after he molded you, said, get up and walk, and you would have got up and walked. But he took time to breathe life into you. He went down and he breathed into that dirty old body. He breathed in the thing that he molded so you can have breath in your lungs. And that breath, we sung a song many, many times that says that breath in our lungs is not ours. So we're going to pour out our praise and we're going to worship him because we are blessed to have the presence of God inside of us because he breathed life inside of every single one. Why are we afraid of that? See, we get so afraid of things in this world. And I find out the reason why we get so afraid is because we don't really understand who's really got us. Some of us need to surrender to God. Don't be afraid to surrender to God. Don't be afraid to give everything over to Him, no matter what you're going through in your life. I love Jeremiah 29:11. He says, "For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end." He's telling us that He has good plans for our lives. Psalm 86:5 says this, "For thou, Lord, art good and ready to forgive, and plenteous in mercy unto all them that call upon thee." God will forgive us. Amen. Why are we afraid of the one that cast out all fear? Why are we afraid of the one? Why are we afraid to give our life over to the one that's taken over, that has done so much for us already in life? The first barrier that keeps us from surrendering to God is fear. The second barrier that keeps us from surrendering to God is pride. Some of us is past the fearful thing, but then we got pride. Amen. I come to find out this is a very big problem in a lot of our lives. Is we try to be prideful all the time. Pride is hard for a lot of us. Pride is a feeling or a deep pleasure or satisfaction delivered from our own achievements. The achievement of those whom one is closely associated, or from qualities or possessions that are widely admired. You see, we have pride because we think we do everything on our own. Amen. Have you ever met somebody and said, "That's my car. That's my house. That's my food over there. You can't have none of my food." Amen. You know what? We get so prideful because we think everything that we have was because we got it. You know what, church? As I said earlier, everything you have is because God gave it to you. We get prideful in our talents. Amen. Some of us get prideful because we say, "Oh man, I can sing." Amen. And nobody else can sing. I'm the only one that can sing that. And you know what? We get so prideful in it that we forget that God's the one that gave you the talent anyway. We get prideful because somebody, I don't know about you, sometimes I get that sickness called big head syndrome. Don't act like you don't get that. When somebody starts bragging on you, what starts happening? Your head just starts keeping getting bigger and bigger and bigger. You can't even fit in the room sometimes. Because you think it's everything that you did. It has nothing that you did. It has everything that God did. Stop letting your pride get away. We get so prideful. We think we can take care of our own situations in our life. So we don't hand them over to God. And you know what I come to find out? A lot of times when we start taking things into our own hands is when we start messing them up. When we start doing stuff our way, amen. Amen. We start doing things our way is when we usually get in the most trouble in our lives. The Church of God of Prophecy in 1984, 1985 had to come and repent. Some of you might have been in that General Assembly. Some of you don't know this, the history of the Church of God of Prophecy. In 1984, right? 1984, 85, right around in there. The church, they began a move of the Spirit hit the whole General Assembly. And when it hit the whole General Assembly, God gave out a message that the church, the whole church, not just the local church, the whole global church. Now I'm talking about nations of churches that had to go and repent because they begin to take rules and they begin to take regulations and they begin to worship the creation instead of the Creator. As a matter of fact, that's what the message was given out. So you know what they had to do? They had to get on their hands and knees and lose all their pride and surrender and say, we were doing it the wrong way for so long that God needs to make a move in our lives. You know what, church? It is time that we start going to God and repenting and come to Him and say, listen, we're doing it the wrong way because all we have to do is surrender to You and greater things will happen in our lives. We got to get out of this prideful state because do you realize who else was prideful? Lucifer was prideful. You see, Ezekiel 28:17 tells us this. Thy heart was lifted up because of thy beauty. Thou hast corrupt thy wisdom by reason of thy brightness, and I will cast thee to the ground. I will lay thee before kings, and that they behold thee. You see, Satan's heart became proud. He was actually living up in heaven with God. He was a beautiful being, a beautiful Amen. A lot of times we like to tell everybody else how to do something, but we don't even know how to do it ourselves.
Right.
Church, it's time that we stop getting the pride. Hey, some of us got to get rid of this pride, Brother G. Amen. I come to find out that we live in a society that's all about me, and it should be all about him. Because if it's all about me, then we get pride inside of us, and we get this pride that's so high inside of us, we can't even minister to anybody else because we think we know the right way. Right. Church, we've got to get rid of this pride in our life if we're ever going to surrender to God. We got to give it to him. You see, that sin that corrupted Lucifer was a self-generated pride. The same thing happens to us. We think we are in control of ourselves, and we find ourselves with our own self-generated pride. I hear it all the time. We want to get all the glory for ourselves. We think our talents are something that we made ourselves, but church, it has nothing to do with us. It has everything to do with God. Which leads us to the third barrier. And I think this is the one that hurts us the most. It's not fear, it's not pride, it's confusion. It's confusion. You see, surrendering to God is not an excuse to be lazy. Amen. You see, a lot of us surrender to God. We say, God, forgive me of my sins. And we forget, he tells us once we become disciples that we go out and teach others. Amen? Amen. We say, God, I cast my burden upon you. But then we forget that there's some work that has to come involved with that. We have to keep moving. Amen. Remember last week we said he don't only sustain us, but what does he do? He guides us to victory. Some of us want to just cast our burdens and just leave it there, and we never make it to victory because guess what? We never do any work. Surrendering to God doesn't mean we can become lackadaisical. It doesn't mean that we can become lazy. It doesn't mean that we can just stop there. You see, the enemy has us confused that when we surrender to God, everything is done. But we forget about other things in our lives. We forget about being sanctified. We forget about being baptized with the Holy Spirit. We forget about reading our Bible. We forget about praying. We forget about seeking. We forget about going out and make disciples of all nations. Oh, but I surrendered it to God. Praise God. Keep moving forward. Amen. Do you realize that something's not growing? What's it doing? It's dying. Amen. If a tree's not growing, it's dying. Amen. If a flower's not growing, it's dying. Amen. Me and my wife, we have the opposite of a green thumb. I don't know what that is. we can't even keep ferns. Amen. A fern will last a week at our house. Amen. And then it starts turning brown. And you know what, Brother G? I get upset, so I stop watering it. So you know what usually happens? It dies even quicker. Amen. And then I just leave it out in the sun and it burns up. Amen. But I come to realize this: if I put a little effort into it, it would grow to what it's called to be grown into. Church, if you want to be a child of God, you better grow. Amen. Stop being confused by the enemy that this is it. This is all over. Keep striving. Keep seeking. Keep getting close to him. Let's stop being lazy. Let's stop doing these things that God has not called us to do. You see, surrendering is not for cowards. A lot of us think if we surrender, we'll be a coward. A lot of us think if we give in to God, that then it's all messed up. But church, that's not what God says. God says surrendering means victory in your life. See, the enemy wants to do all these things to confuse us. C.S. Lewis said this: the more we let God take us over, the more truly ourselves we become, because he made us. We're all different, and that is why he uses us. Surrendering is best demonstrated in obedience. You have to say yes instead of saying no. You can't call Jesus your Lord and then refuse to obey him. Just look at what Peter did after a night of fishing, and it failed. But Peter was sitting there, and Jesus said in Luke 5:5, he said, and Simon answered, saying unto him, Master, we have toiled all night and have taken nothing. Nevertheless, at thy word I will let down the nets. Listen, Brother G, he was a fisherman by trade, right? he should know how to fish, right? Amen. Some of you call yourselves a Christian, then guess what you should be? A Christian. Amen. Do you know how you become a Christian? How you stay a Christian? You obey God. You see, Peter had this thing going on where he's supposed to be fishing. He fished all night, couldn't get anything. And then this man just walks up. He's not a fisherman. He's just a guy that walks up and he says, cast your net upon the other side. And you know what he did? He surrendered to him. He thought he knew better, but he gave it to him. He threw the nets down, and guess what happened? The blessings came pouring in. Church, if you would just obey God, just think about the blessings that would pour into you. Our blessing pile keeps getting bigger and bigger, and I thank God for it. But you know the reason why it's doing that? Because people are obeying God. They're not letting fear get there. They're not letting pride get in the way. And they're definitely not letting confusion get in the way. All they're doing is saying, listen, the devil wants to tell you that you can't trust God with everything, but God wants to tell you, you give it to me and trust me, and I'll take care of it. You've got to get rid of the confusion. You've got to trust in Him. Got to give it to him. That first scripture that we read, Brother Brandon, if you will, the very first scripture that I gave you. Jesus is in the Garden of Gethsemane. He comes up. As he comes up, he begins to get heavy. He begins to get tired. He begins to understand what's about to happen. Go ahead and go to the next verse there, Brother Brandon. Amen. And as he gets there, he gets down on his knees and he begins to pray. And he says, Father, all things are possible unto thee. Just stop right there for a second. All things are possible unto thee. He says, God, I'm giving it to you. I know all things are possible with you, God. And God, if you can, take this cup from me. God, if you can do it any other way, take it from me. Take this, whatever you have to do, just take it from me. But then he says the greatest words I think I've ever heard in my life, not my will. God, if you can take it away. But I know all things are possible with you. So listen, if you don't want to take it away, because that's my will, but your will is for me to go through this, amen. Some of you, I think about Sister Faith. Sister Faith, for years I've known her. She's been able to sing. She helps with our nursery. She's going through things in her life, and all of a sudden, a brain tumor comes up. But listen, if anything's possible, God can right now come and He can heal her and take that brain tumor out right now. But listen, whatever His will is, that's what we're going to believe in. We're going to trust in Him because He's holding our hand. He's making us go through the fire, and as we go through the fire, we have a greater testimony. If God would change things just like this, we wouldn't have a testimony for Him. But if we just trust in God, and as we go through the fire, as we go through the hot coals, we'll come out smelling even better than we did when we went in. Because God says all things are possible, and whatever His will is, then your will be done. Not my will. Come up to the altar and you lay a rock down. And I know some of you laid it down for problems and issues in your life. Some of you laid it down for children and family members. And you lay it down and you say, God, you can't take this. But I ask you this morning, don't just say, God, take this. God, say, God, not my will. God, I know all things are possible. I trust in you. I'm not afraid to give my life over to you. I'm not afraid to give everything over to you. I'm not prideful and think I know it all because I know you know all things. All things are possible in you. I'm not confused by what the enemy is telling me, but I lay it over in your hands. I give it to you, God. And God, if you can take it, take it. But if you can't, whatever your will Me and Sister Sherry, we were youth ministers here for 8 years, I think, 8, 9 years. And Brother James said he was retiring. And the church asked us to interview him. You don't know how hard it was for me and my wife to leave a youth group that we worked with for 8 to 10 years, 8, 9 years, somewhere in there. There's a lot of kids there that we loved and we've seen them grow. And then they asked us to take on this big thing, and I told the pulpit committee when I met with them, I said, listen, I don't know everything. I don't know how to lead a church. I'm just Byron, amen. But I will tell you one thing, and I told them this, I said, we're going to let God guide us. God's going to guide us. Listen, church, I'll never forget that night that right before we interviewed here at the church, I prayed, God, not my will, but your will be done. If it's your will for me to be the pastor here at Restoration Chapel, then let it be done. And I'm going to trust in you. I'm never going to let a title tell me who I think I am, amen. I'm never going to let fear of stepping out into new places take me where I've never been before. I'm never going to let confusion of what's going on to take me to a place where I get away from you. But I promise, God, I know all things are possible in you. And whatever your will is, I pray that it be done. Are you ready to pray that this morning? It's hard. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. There's going to be times where you are afraid, and there's going to be times where you are prideful, and there's going to be times where you are scared, but you have to surrender it all to God. Listen, I know some of the things that you're going through. I don't know how you feel because I've never went through them, but I know that if I was going through the same things you were, I'd be asking God, why is this happening, God? Why is this going on? I think about just this week in Williamston. There's been about 4 or 5 wrecks that's caused deaths and things like that just going on right here in a community of 3,000. And we say, why? Why, God? Why? I know some of the friends that come here that ride motorcycles, I've seen where people's had wrecks. And here recently, just like crazy. Just people have been having wrecks and in the hospital and different things, and we don't know why. And I ask you to pray this morning. God, I surrender to you, and I say, God, not my will, but your will be done. God, not what I want to be done, but what you want to be done, because when I let you do what you need to do, all the glory will come back to you. And I praise you, and I seek you. We lay down these rocks, we lay down these things, but we need to lay down our lives and say, God, whatever your will is, let it be done. Let it be done. The praise team comes up. I ask you this morning, are you ready to surrender to God? Are you ready to say, God, it's not about me? Some of you right now are afraid to let God move in your life, and you're afraid to let God take over your life. I'm going to tell you right now, don't be afraid of the one that cast out fear. The only reason why you should be afraid is because you don't have it. Amen. You should be afraid of losing His presence. Yes. But you should not be afraid of what He can do for your life, so give it to Him. Some of you right here are prideful and say, Bobby, I'm doing it my way. Don't let pride keep you from the blessings that God has in store for you. Some of you are confused to say, Bobby, I just don't know what to do. Well, listen, I'm telling you this. If you lay it down at the feet of Jesus, He'll make sure the confusion goes away. Because He will guide you to the right path. Guide you to the right place. I'm going to ask you to stand.